Hello and welcome to the Daily Forex Report for May 10th. We are looking at the U.S.-Japanese yen pair. This pair pulled higher, closed up. It is overall moving sideways with a bias to the downside. Look for it to potentially go as high as 80.33, possibly as low as 79.29. Look for some resistance around 80.00 and look for some support around 79.40. Now the Euro-USD pair, this pair created an inside bar, closed up just by a little bit. We are looking for it to potentially go as high as 130.32, possibly as low as 128.63. Look for some resistance around 129.95 and look for some support around 129.05. Now the pound-US dollar pair, this pair closed up during this last session, had a pretty large tail on both directions. Look for this pair to potentially go as high as 162.34, possibly as low as 160.37. Look for some resistance around 162.00 and look for some support around 160.63. Now the US Swiss, this pair created an inside bar, closed down. We are looking for it to potentially go as high as 0.9334, possibly as low as 0.9215. Look for some resistance to come into the market around 0.9300 and look for some support around 0.9230. Now, as far as news analysis go, we have several news announcements tomorrow. We have the Chinese releasing their loans, their new loans numbers, showing a decrease from 1,010 billion down to 780 billion. Then a little bit later, we have the German Consumer Price Index being released. Of course, that will affect the euro at 2 a.m. Eastern. Consensus on that is that it's held at 2%. Then a little bit later, about 5 a.m. Eastern, there's the European Commission releases their economic growth forecast. As far as the table is concerned, it will be interesting to see if that affects the market. The numbers have been released, so I doubt it will. Then at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, we have the net change in the Canadian employment. They're showing a drop from 82.3K to 10K. Unemployment rate overall for Canada is also being released, showing a slight increase from 7.2 to 7.3. Then at 9:55 a.m. Eastern, we have the U.S. Has the University of Michigan's confidence report being released. Consensus on that is that it's held at 76.4. Now let's take a look at. Let's actually zoom in a little bit from where we're at currently. I'm still looking for the U.S. Swiss to turn back around, fill the gap. Not sure it will. However, we did create an inside bar during this last session. So if it moves to the downside, I'm going to look to sell off of the low, and then look to exit when we get back down here. Probably using a stop loss of about 1-to-1. Stop loss here as well as here. Moving my stop loss to break even when we hit the halfway point. Very similar trade looking for in the Euro-USD, but to the upside. Looking for it to retrace. Here again, putting a stop loss below this low. Looking for a buy order and then looking to exit. Now, if this doesn't occur, obviously, if it doesn't surge to the upside, this trade won't be triggered. You could look for a trade to the downside, but we have clear-cut entries and exits for our move to the upside and not so clear on the downside. I would also go to break even on this one as we hit kind of the midline as well as previous areas of resistance. I hope that helps, and until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.